Hello YouTube, it's Carson1 here doing a video which I said I was going to do a little while ago. I believe if that video is up by now you should have seen it. Basically I'm going to give you guys a review and thought on my current bike, which is the 1996 Honda Fireblade 900RR, not 1000, 900. I think it is like 919cc something, but anyway. Well, to begin with, I'll have posted a picture of what it looks like already, so you'll have seen that, or it'll be in the thumbnail and all that sort of thing, so you know what it looks like. It looks retro, which I like. I like my old bikes, I like old cars, I like the way they used to style things. I think they look cool. Now, I've always liked my Hondas. I've had a Honda CG 125, Honda Varadero 125, I've had a Honda VFR 800, I've ridden CBR900s, the CBR900F and the 600 CBR900RR. I do like my Hondas. You could say I'm a Honda fanboy, although I try to avoid using that word. I like Hondas. This is my favourite one yet, for the minute. The reason I say that is because the VFR 800 was always my dream bike, and I'll probably be comparing them mostly in this video, just in case you happen to be deciding between the two. Both are pretty damn similar in power. This has more horsepower, but the VFR, I believe, still has more torque. The VFR is a V4, this is an inline 4, or a straight 4, whatever you want to call it. But basically, I'll go over this, and then I'll have a few words about the comparison between. Hello. I thought that was Bradford Biker, but he sold his ZX. Right, so this, as I said, 1996, so it's old technology. You've got to bear that in mind if you're considering buying one of these. You've got no fuel injection, you've got no digital gauges, you've got nothing. It's all analog, all just, you know, it's basic mechanical workings. You know, your speedo is all analog and everything like that. But the way I look at it, and the reason why it doesn't bother me in the slightest, even after coming from the VFR, which had a little digital screen, had a fuel gauge and all that sort of thing, is because I don't spend a huge amount of time looking at my dash on this bike. You can barely see it in videos, and I'm not too bothered. I don't do that for any sort of legal reasons or anything. It just happens to be the way which I'm sat, and my head is kind of above my gas filler tank cap thing. You know what I mean? So I'm quite far forward on it. I'm a tallish guy, I'm 6 foot, so you know, makes sense. If Liz is on it, she's quite stretched out and you see the dash quite a bit, which she's put in her video. She did a ride of this, which I'll link to here, should be on the screen. So yeah, you don't see the dash, so you don't really spend that much time looking at it. You tend to glance at it every now and again. 600F, or was that? I don't know, could have been a Thundercat. So yeah, you don't spend much time, you don't need to. With bikes like these, you can generally tell what's going on. There are 6 gears, which you should kind of expect from a sports bike. I'm doing 40 miles an hour right now, and I'm doing just over 2,000 RPM in 6 gear. So there's plenty of power, and you do not feel the lack of any sort of power at all. Now, one thing which I did not necessarily complain about, but it was one of those things where compared to other bikes I've ridden, it was lacking a little bit, was the brakes. They don't feel quite as sharp as other bikes I've ridden, especially not compared to Liz's Phaser 600, but that is a much newer bike. On the other side though, we have just bled the brakes today, and they do feel a lot better. Still not quite as sharp. I mean, I believe the pots are actually bigger than the Phaser, but I don't cite me on that, I'm not 100% certain. But they do feel better. They feel good, they stop you strongly, and you do have confidence in them now, whereas before they went a bit spongy. Don't know whether or not they'd ever been changed, or the fluid's been changed, sorry. This bike has done 42,000 miles, so it's possible that they haven't. The fluid was a bit dark, but that's one thing to bear in mind if you've ridden a newer sport bike, or basically just any newer bike that's got a slightly more high-tech braking system, is you will notice it. I still do, and I've ridden older and newer bikes. So that's the brakes covered. Technology-wise, dashboard. What do you have on the dash? Well, I have a tack, as you'd expect, the big thing in the middle. I have a speedo, the big thing on the left, and a temperature gauge, the little thing on the right. That's it. Apart from your odometer and your odometer and I can't remember what the other one's called. Tachometer? No? Well, yeah, whatever. Your total mileage and then your trip mileage. Trip meter, that's it. Odometer and trip meter. That's all you have. You have no fuel gauge. You have indicator lights, you have an oil warning light, a neutral light, side stand switch, and a high beam light. That is it. That is a nice truck, which you might have just heard. Oh my lord. A little bit of wee came out. But anyway, very, very nice truck. Anyway, yeah. Dash, very, very basic. Those lights were very, very slow. Very, very slow, very, very short, rather. There's not much. And on your handlebars, you have got, internal visor, high beams, lights, turn signals, horn, flash thing. I'm really apologise if you can't see all this. Kill switch, starter, and throttle, brakes, all that kind of obvious stuff. You can kind of get a bit of a better look of it here, although I am now moving. One thing which shocked me, his helmet looks weird, compared to the VFR, is you've got to give it a fair bit of revs to get going. On the VFR, you could literally be doing, I don't know, 700 RPM, and it would just pull anyway. This, it does pull, but it feels like it really doesn't want to, which I suppose it probably doesn't. But the thing is, this red line's at 11,000 RPM. Yeah, that's not a lot compared to brand new R6s and things like that go up to 18, and I think one of the R6s went up to 21,000 if I remember correctly. But plenty of power is there. Horrible English there, but it has plenty of power there. I believe there's 146, I think. Again, really sorry, this was a spur of the moment decide of a video, so I haven't done any research. But it has plenty. You're not going to be lacking. And it gets you from A to B pretty damn quickly. First gear will do 70 miles an hour. I have done it. It can do it. And that's with me. I'm a big guy. So if you were Lizard size, probably go even faster. And, well, I haven't really tried to do top speeding gears beyond that, because I would imagine second would probably be about 100, third 120, and, so forth, so far. But obviously I've never gone over 70 miles an hour. But anyway, so yeah, wing mirrors, dismal. Don't really see much out of them. They're a bit short, don't really look good. They've got what is sort of colloquially known as condoms on the stalks. You don't see much. You see your elbows mostly, so if you've got really cool leathers, you're fine, because you're looking at your leathers all the time. Other than that, you can't really see much out of them. You've got to really move your head over, or tuck yourself in, or take your hand off the bar, or look underneath your arm to see anything. It's not an issue. Again, I do just look behind me a lot of the time. You should be doing your lifesavers anyway, so that shouldn't be an issue. Headlights, brilliant. All Honda bikes I've ever ridden have good headlights, apart from the newer 600F, which I personally don't like the styling on, but I believe the headlight was only a single unit, so it didn't work quite as well. This is a very big reflector, and if you put bright bulbs in there, I'm sure it'd be perfectly fine. As ever, you have the electrical gremlins with the older Hondas, where you have the rectifier regulator issue, which can overheat, but that has been sorted on this motorcycle. Other than that, there isn't a huge amount. It's pretty comfortable. You are leant over, so if you do have a bad back, you've got maybe not so strong arms, or you have weak wrists or something, probably not a good idea. Plenty of exercises for you to do if you have weak wrists. Seat's okay. I've got a big fat ass, so it's quite comfy for me anyway. Pillion seat, not too bad, apart from both the pillion and the rider's seat are both slippy as hell, but that is so that you can slide off the seat and go around corners quickly. It is a super sport. Anyway, so that aside, fully adjustable rear suspension and front suspension. So you can fine tune it to what you want. If you wanted to make this into a track bike, that would be very, very easy. Comes with, I can't remember exactly what brand it is, I think it's Showa suspension as stock on the rear, which I've had experience with before. It is good, does what you want it to do, no need to worry about it. And it is fully, you have the external reservoir on it as well, so you've got, you can top up fluids and things like that should you ever need to, should you have a leak or whatnot. Other than that, there is not a huge amount to discuss. I personally really like the look of these. The only other Fireblades I'm really fond of are the 2007 ones, the kind of pointy shape. The same sort of shape as all these 333's bike and Save the Freak's new bike. Those are kind of the only really ones I like. I love it. For a sport bike, it's brilliant, gives you everything you need. You do not need all the gadgets. Doesn't have the power of New Day thousands, but you got to remember it's not 1,000, and it is what, how old? For 19 years old, nearly 20. So yeah, don't expect too much, and you'll be very pleasantly surprised. But on the other hand, it's a damn good bike. If you are looking to get one, you can get them pretty cheap. This bike, I believe, we paid somewhere in the region of $1,400 for, and perfectly good condition. Well, very good condition when I bought it. Mostly stock apart from the exhaust. But yeah, hopefully, if you have been looking at buying one of these, that has made your decision a little bit easier. I will not be getting rid of mine for a while unless other situations force it. I love it. Hopefully if you get one, you will love yours too. Please let me know if you've had one of these in the past, what you thought about it, and if you did have any issues with it. If you did, I would be interested to know, just to make sure I don't end up having the same problems. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you found this informative, interesting, and or useful. And I will catch you next time. Goodbye, everybody.